India, Mr. Ketsuki, and also Jamie Elmo from USA. So that was an awesome meeting, there were more than 15 participants. So it was a great start for us in this, where they were talking to, everyone, giving us so much courage, how they've gone through their life and how they've come out and, they were able to stand straight. And it was a great encouragement to everyone. So in our this second gathering or meeting in this awareness month, we have a special guest all the way who's living in Saudi, Riyadh, who is going to speak to us on his journey. But he's an Indian born, but he has moved all the way to Saudi for his work. He's Mr. Rais. So he has been involved in our online talks from time to time. And also we have Mr. Gary Sherwood from the National Alopecia Areata Foundation in the US, where he will give an introduction to us on the work and how we can get connected to the National Areata Foundation and and also some awareness for us. So first I would like to ask Mr. Gary Sherwood, the Communications Director at National Alopecia Areata Foundation USA, to introduce yourself and give us an elaboration on the work, what we do, and how we can get involved with your work as well. Over to you, Gary.
Thank you, Benjamin. Doing well here. As I mentioned earlier, we have a bit of a time difference here right now. It is 6:40 in the morning. So we're about, I think, either about 12 and a half hours, or what is that, 13 hours, whatever it is, behind you. But I'm really happy to be here. As Benjamin mentioned, I am the Communications Director for National Alopecia Areata Foundation. I've been with, we call it NAF. I've been with NAF since 2012. My background was in communications for a major insurance company, which I did for 13 years before coming to NAF. And when I came to NAF, I told NAF leadership what I want to do is not only do communications, but I wanted to increase patient advocacy. I wanted patients to be able to go and meet with their legislators, with their lawmakers, with their leaders, and be able to have laws passed that would be for the benefit of people with alopecia areata. So 9 years ago, I started NAF's legislative liaison program here in the US, and that allows alopecia patients and their families to meet with their members of Congress and with their senators and to have laws passed that will benefit those with alopecia areata. We have a new bill that is being introduced this week, which will make it easier, we hope, for people to afford wigs, what we call cranial prosthetic. And so that bill will be introduced, we're told, at the end of this week. There's a woman in Congress named Ayanna Presley, which you may want to look her up online. She is a congresswoman from Massachusetts, out of Boston, if you know where that is, on the northeast of the United States. And she herself has alopecia areata. You can look at pictures of her. She no hair at all. And she's the first member of the US government to have alopecia areata. And so she wants to do whatever she can to help those with the disease. She's the one who's introducing this bill. We just had a Zoom call with her just like this 2 days ago. We had about 25 people on that call, and it went very well. You know, she wants everyone to know that they have a friend in the US Congress now who has alopecia. National Alopecia Areata Foundation, or NAF, was founded in 1981 right here in California. So we are celebrating our 40th anniversary. And we are the oldest foundation for people with alopecia areata. Before NAF, there was nothing. People kind of had to keep it to themselves. NAF was started by 3 women here in California who had alopecia. And they started with a support group in San Francisco. It's just like this. They have been having their meetings on Zoom because of the pandemic, but once the pandemic is over, we hope very soon, then they'll go back to having their meetings in person in San Francisco. That is the longest running support group in NAF history. We're the largest organization as well for people with alopecia areata, and we look for a cure or an acceptable treatment for alopecia areata. We support those with the disease, and we advocate on their behalf. And even though we're primarily a US organization, as you can well see, we have support groups all over the world. We have an annual patient conference held every year. For the past 2 years, we had to do it virtually, but we hope to be back in person with that conference, and that will be in Washington, DC in June of 2022. So that's 9 months from now. And we hope some of you can join us there. We'd love to see you. We usually have people from all over the world at that conference. The conference usually attracts between 600 and 700 people. So like I said, we hope we can see you there. We'll have more information on the conference as we get into like early 2022. You'll see we'll have lots of social media postings for it. We'll have the registration up for it. And I'm here to answer any questions you have about NAF. Oh, and if you're interested in finding out more about NAF as well, besides asking me questions, if you think of something, call. I'll give you our website is www.naf.org. You can also write us at info@naf.org, info, info@naf.org. And you can always write me personally. My email is Gary, Gary, Gary@naf.org. And I'd be happy to answer any questions you have for me right now.
Yes, thank you very much, Gary, for your introduction on what the NAF is doing and what is yet to come in the coming years, months and years. So next, we are going to hear from Rais, who is based in Riyadh, Saudi. So he's a director of one of the top world IT service and consulting company. So, I would like to welcome and give the platform to Rais to tell about your journey and encourage all of us to move forward. So over to you, Rais.
Thank you, Benjamin, and nice to hear from you, Gary. One question before I get started with my stuff for Gary would be, what are the tentative dates? Did you mention or I missed it for the conference in the US on alopecia?
Thank you. Those dates are going to be Thursday, June 30th through Sunday, July 3rd.
Okay, all right. So I'll be more than happy to kind of try and be there if I could. I'll work with you separately, get the invitation letter and try and be there. I lived in the US, by the way. I moved to Saudi Arabia only in 2016, initially as a visitor, and then eventually I took residency over here. But prior to that, I was based in Richmond, Virginia. And before that, I spent a lot of time in Los Angeles. While working for Cognizant during those days, based in the US. And I was part of US healthcare. I must say that really appreciate the good work that you and your organization is doing. To me, at least, when alopecia first happened in 2009, there wasn't any support group that I was aware of. Maybe there were some available in the US, but at that point in time, I was based in India. I used to work with TCS, which is again one of the top IT services companies, part of the Tata Group. I looked up to see the profile of Ayanna Pressley. Very impressive. Happy to see her bald and beautiful picture on Wikipedia. So sometimes my expectation was that because some of the photos that showed up were perhaps of Ayanna Pressley's with wig and hair, but at least on her Wikipedia page, it's absolutely bald and nice and clean in that sense. So good to see that real bold appearance. Switching over to my journey in terms of what happened, how it started, I think I'll try and keep it as brief and maybe we'll make it more interactive for the last 5 minutes at least, so that we have some questions and comments from anyone who may want to kind of speak. It started in 2009, September, when we first identified a small patch uh, of hair missing on my head, somewhere towards the backside of my ear. One day morning, we realized that hair is missing, and I was kind of stunned, and I wondered what happened. The first thought was that it could be some mischief, someone kind of put some hair remover on my head, and we didn't know what's going on. From there on, I started realizing that no, it's more than someone trying to do some mischief. I was just starting to lose hair very rapidly. It was also a period when I was going through great emotional and financial distress. Both there was pressure at office and work, and I wouldn't want to kind of give weightage as to what I feel caused more harm. But that was around the time when the great financial crisis happened in the US. So the Lehman crash happened, and I was certainly one of those stock market traders on the side. So I had a full-time IT consulting job on the IT services side, and on the side I wanted to become rich and become rich faster. So I had borrowed a lot of money, and with leveraged money I was making more money. And I was one of those relatively immature 12 13 years back then, who thought that you can become rich overnight and stay rich forever. But like they say, what comes in faster can actually go back as equally fast as well if your fundamentals are not in place. So I was a FNO trader, and as a lot of financial gurus would say, FNO is truly called by Warren Buffett, and rightly so, as weapons of mass destruction. So you can really make tons of money if you're on the right sides of the market, and you can literally lose all your money if you just happen to be on the wrong side. And there was a lot of euphoria, and everyone thought that market will continue to go up. And it was driven by the basic strong belief that US real estate is never going to crash. So you keep borrowing money, you keep buying houses, houses prices are going to go up, banks will continue to get their money back, and whoever is taking these mortgages, these loans, they are also going to make, if not hundreds of thousands, at least tens of thousands on borrowed money. That had a ripple effect across the world. Markets crashed, and I lost a lot of money. So that was a period when there was stress and pressure at the office, and I suddenly was almost becoming bankrupt. Because that's the problem with FNO versus regular stock trading, if you understand that. And I don't want to kind of convert this into the money market discussion. But if I were to say that in one sentence, uh, basically there is no underlying asset. So when you are buying stocks and keeping them, you're waiting for these stock prices to go up. It is in companies with some real value, and over a period of time you're looking at their earnings. But FNO is pure speculation. So it's almost like gambling. The financial guys would not like to use the word gambling, but it's literally that. And that's my learning in life. So as a gambler, you get it right, nothing succeeds like success. You get it wrong, you have lost everything. Uh, so that, I believe, was the trigger. Now, I'm a Muslim by faith. So it was around the time in August, September, the holy month of Ramadan was starting. And when you may not be a practicing Muslim or a religious person, but when you start losing money and everything is going wrong in life, then you're looking for God or someone else to come out and rescue you from the distressful situation. So we decided to travel to Mecca, and that was the first time I went to Saudi Arabia. And one of the ritual was to shave your head. So you go towards the holy Kaaba, take some circles around it, and there are such rituals in Hinduism. There are such rituals in Islam where you give up all your hair, and that's when I first time shaved my entire head. I was about 32 years old at that time, and we said, okay, let me sacrifice my hair. And a week later, I realized hair are not coming back. It started coming back, but it would be only in patches. So there will be parts of my head where there will be hair. And suddenly, from someone who I felt at least was a handsome looking young man, I was suddenly a bald, ugly looking person. I think more than the world and people around me, to whom it was a big shock that, hey, what happened to him? It was extremely difficult for me to accept myself when it started. So I would wake up in the morning, look into the mirror, and wouldn't understand what's going on. How can this happen to me? The other thing of alopecia totalis, the way it happened to me, you must know, is that everything happened within 3 months. So there could be cases and patients and people who are impacted where it may happen very slowly, gradually. So they do have, and now we really don't know, a long and painful death or any illness is better than a sudden one. So there are pros and cons of both. But to me, at least, it was very difficult to handle at that point in time. The best thing that happened to me was an extremely good doctor. So I was based in Bombay at that point in time. So there is a hospital called Jaslok. There was this doctor who was the head of dermatology called Ram Malkani. So Ram just sat with me and started talking to me, and he said, okay, you are into IT consulting. I don't think, unlike a Bollywood or a Hollywood star, where his looks matter so much that whether he gets a role or doesn't get a role or gets kicked out of the industry, I believe you will continue to make good money and have a job, right? No matter how much debt or money you have lost in the stock market and the other stressful things, you are in a comfortable situation. So start looking at the positives. Don't get too paranoid about some of these things, because I didn't know how to go to office and face my colleagues. Invariably, the first speculation is, hey, have you got cancer and are you undergoing chemotherapy? Suddenly, people are looking at you, people who used to not really uh, have any reason to have any emotion and definitely not any pity or sympathy for you, are trying to show their sympathetic side towards you and wondering, hey, what's wrong? How did this happen? And to me, it was moving from bad to worse. It started with hair on my head, but guess what? Slowly I was realizing that I'm losing my eyebrows and then all other body hair. So suddenly I was a fairly hairy person, and suddenly it was no hair at anywhere, any part of the body. So it was kind of something that was continuously playing on my mind. You tend to run to too many doctors thinking that someone will have some cure, and starts eating too many medicines and pumping in your body with a lot of chemicals, hoping that this will work versus that will work. Some of these medicines may have side effects, including making you feel tired, exhausted, drowsy, and all of that happened to me as well. I think then a conversation with Dr. Ram Malkani and a bit of support and counseling from my family, more so ever from my wife, helped me look at things very differently. And the conversation was all about that, look, this look is better than, of course, they were trying to kind of make me feel better about it, that this look is better than the earlier look. But regardless of whether it is better or worse, it's different and we are fine. There's a large number of people who don't have hair, and hair is one of those things which is not important for survival in that sense, right? So human body is made up of several different things and several different parts, if I may say so. And examples were given, like you have appendix, you start having bad stomach ache, and doctor suddenly realizes that, hey, we can do away with it. Now, of course, God has created human bodies such where appendix may have some value. Similar is the case with tonsillitis. You suddenly have pain in your throat, but then you accept the fact that these tonsillitis are doing more harm than good in certain cases. Thyroid, several such things where interventions can be made, and sometimes you actually force things out. Now, in this case, of course, it was not voluntary. I wanted to keep my hair, but hair were kind of going away. So it was, I think, at least about a year that I took to get over it. But after I kind of told myself that, look, now this is gone, I'm not going to break my head, I reached a point where I stopped taking alopecia medicines. In fact, that was the time when I moved from India to US. And then I went to some studios in Los Angeles, very expensive wigs. I was happy to hear from Gary just now that they are going to now cover them through insurance. That wasn't the case around 10 years back. And we certainly were debating whether I should spend money and buy a wig or that wig is going to make me more uncomfortable than what I would be without hair. I think I just made the right choice with a lot of support from a loving family. As I said, more importantly, a lot of credit to my wife, and definitely the right doctor. He could have kind of dragged it, said that, okay, let's keep trying. He said, we'll keep trying, and I feel that you will get your hair back. But he said, let's not break our head and drain ourselves emotionally, or for that matter, physically, by taking a lot of medicine. And I told myself that, okay, I don't want to kind of say that hair is that important. If it comes back, well and good. If it doesn't, then it's okay. Now, one last thing that I may add is that my hair did come back. So about a year and a half later, suddenly we saw a lot of growth and hair was coming back. And if any one of you want to go and see my pictures on Facebook, you will see my photo in Paris, Eiffel Tower, a lot of hair, black. Then a few years later, bald, with eyebrows still there. Before the eyebrows were gone, hair came back and it was 100% white hair. So not even gray. They were white and they were extremely soft. And then even the white hair kind of went away, and doctor kept saying, oh, once the white goes, black will come back. And I told him that, hey, what nonsense are we talking here? Conventional wisdom says that it moves from black to white and then either stays or you become bald. You are talking something totally different. And he said, well, it's not the natural progression that we are seeing in your case. So the black that was there and went away, that was the disease. And the white that has come are as a result of that. And therefore, we are hopeful that black will come back. So he keeps still arguing that your black hair will come back. I don't feel excited about it anymore. And quite frankly, over the last 5 to 10 years, I don't even care about it anymore. So I have truly embraced the fact that bald is beautiful. And I have started really liking my bald look. And I say, hey, this is really good. No maintenance. This whole thing of gels and coconut oil or all that crap maintenance of your head and hair, that's not needed. Just wipe your head after shower and you're done. Boom, ready. So now I'm ready for questions, comments from any one of you that you may have.
Very nice, Rais. Very nice. Nicely described.
Thank you,
So
Kid.
good.
Rais, I might just comment that unfortunately, even though we're introducing that bill, it may be at least a year or two until it passes. So unfortunately, here in the US, wigs are still not covered, which is unfortunate. I mean, they should be, because as you probably know, if you're someone who suffers from cancer, insurance here in the US usually does cover the cost of a wig. But unfortunately, alopecia is looked upon as a cosmetic disease, as a surface disease, and that's something we're trying to change. We're trying to change that perception. That's something that Congresswoman Presley is trying to change as well.
Got it. Yep, that would be great if it happens.
May I ask, where in Los Angeles did you live?
In Newbury Park.
Okay. All right. I grew up in Los Angeles.
Great. So Thousand Oaks is where I had my customer. And incidentally, Gary, you would know the customer as well if you have lived in that area. It's Anthem. It was WellPoint earlier. So all of Blue Cross Blue Shield.
I'm very familiar. As I mentioned, I worked for a State Farm Insurance for 13 years, but I knew all the other groups out there as well. It's a small community. We would interact a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, very familiar.
Yes.
So, Rais, I would say it's like an amazing story, and it's really great that the way you have embraced the new look. Very inspiring and very nice to hear. I have one question. So, when you got your hair back suddenly, in the white hair that came, how was whatever the other things in your life going? Was it like normal life going, or something very good was happening? Emotional state? Any differences?
So I must tell you that the worst period emotionally was when I lost hair. I saw more difficult times after that, but I would say I had matured to a point where I had started taking life on face value, and I was taking myself too seriously and my life too seriously. And my wife came with a different perspective, saying that, look, you have enough money, you have a great career, you are more ambitious, and you're stressing yourself and it's impacting your health. Mentally, I kept telling myself that, hey, I'm strong enough and I can take on more. And that's where Dr. Ram Malkani, kind of his counseling helped, saying that, look, you think you are strong and you can take more, but your body is giving you signs that your stress levels are reaching an unbearable level. So, answer to your question is that no, it wasn't really relatively great happiness that brought the hair back, or some more stress that led it to going away again. I think life has been fairly stable in the last 10, 11 years. So the stress level are almost like a normal graph where it goes up, goes down, but no spike as such. 2009, until then, life was really great, and the career graph and money graph was really going up. And then the Lehman crash happened and it actually suddenly went down. So that was very, very stressful period. After that, I have made enough money from my career, enough money from stock market, become a sensible professional, and I'm not too ambitious about life now. So I now make it a conscious effort to kind of strike a balance. I still work very hard, but I still spend a lot of time with my family. I travel across the world. I spend a lot of time in Europe. So earlier, this whole thing of vacation, I don't want to, I want to work, work, work. But now I make it a point that I at least take 2 vacations. Depending on my budget, I would go all the way to Monte Carlo, some exotic location, very expensive place in Europe, or I will find something in and around India, in Hyderabad, but just enjoy time with people that you really love and care about, your wife, kids, friends. So I think that helped me mentally, but I don't think that is impacting my hair. I think your question was, it was the hair coming and going was to do with that. Not to me. I don't think so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Rais, for your giving us your story and sharing and answering some questions. So, anyone else have some questions for Rais?
Raisi, can you also please tell us a bit more about how did you overcome the judgments of other, a message to the young Alopecians maybe who are struggling with this thought of going completely, not choosing to wear a wig, basically being oneself. So how does one get that courage? Maybe something like that.
So as I said, my learning from this is that the real struggle and fight that I had to do was with myself. Facing myself in the mirror was perhaps very, very emotionally draining. Why did this happen to me? How can this happen to me? As I said, I was not really religious then, and I don't think I'm too religious today either. But at that point in time, we said, hey, if there is God and some spiritual being, let me go and deal with him and maybe say sorry for something wrong that I may have done and see if he's willing to give my hair back. So it was emotionally frustrating. Who did this to me? Why and how? And I'm not able to accept myself. Now that's where, at least in my case, I had my fight. And it took at least a year for me to get over it. I can't see myself. I'm not liking it. How can my hair go away? I had never shaved for all of those 30 years in my life. So I was shaved when I was just born, I think as per some custom and tradition and ritual. And after that, for 30 years, I never even shaved my head, even by choice. And then being forced to be bald was simply unacceptable. It meant emotional turmoil to me. But then when I was able to reason with myself, saying, hey, like it or don't like it, this is the fact. And if you like it and accept it, you will be happier. Or you can keep sulking and cribbing and beating your chest and saying, hey, Bhagwan, kya ho gaya, ye Allah, kya ho gaya, and all of that. And you can just keep crying and sulking about it. So that kind of maturity, but as I said, it's now easy for me to talk, but it was extremely stressful for nearly a year. But once I got over it, there was no looking back. In fact, some people would walk up to me. I had people coming to me and showing empathy, emotion, sympathy, all kind of stuff at the airports. People I know, people I don't know. Now, because I was high flying and jet setting even then between airports in different countries, I used to find it very embarrassing and awkward. In fact, sometimes even hurt. Yeah, why are people looking down at me and how I look, whether I have hair or don't have? But it was starting to look really bad. When I lost my eyebrows, it was even worse, because eyebrows at least was making me feel okay. Hair loss is common on the head, but eyebrows though should be there. I actually once in a while wear these spectacles only to kind of have some border towards my eye, so that sense of blackness is there. So to me, it was again, when people would come and talk to me, I used to say, hey, maybe I'm looking more ugly, and that's why people are looking down at me. Maybe I'm looking like an alien, so I don't look normal. There is this Hrithik Roshan movie with Jadoo. I don't look that weird like Jadoo, but I said maybe I'm looking completely abnormal and people are not able to accept me. And that's when kind of my wife would jokingly come, hug and see that, no, no, I love you as much or I love you more. Don't worry, this looks more nice, handsome, as that. So the family support was there, but I think I had to also become internally strong, saying, hey, this is actually better. So I started reasoning with my own self, and within a year, I got over. I have heard stories of people who were not able to accept for several years, but I think I was lucky, strong enough, got the right support, right perspective, and then I told myself, to hell with it. This is better. So the earlier look was ugly. So I said, okay. So that's how it helped. Make sense, Sakshi?
Yes, yes, totally, completely. Lot of sense.
Yes. So now we'll open this time for everyone. If anyone has some questions, or if you want to get some information on NAF from Gary, so this time we'll take for that. Okay. So we'll spend a few minutes
share
on
your own, or if someone would like to share their own experience, that is also welcome. Yeah.
So interestingly enough, I see two of my daughters have also joined the call. I just shared it in the family group some time back.
Right. I'm currently writing a piece about this meeting for NAF's next electronic newsletter. And I'd like to mention the presentation you gave. I thought you gave a great presentation. And just what is your title?
So so I have been a client partner now for several years for Cognizant, and we consciously didn't put the company name in over there. I told Sakshi to drop it from there, and I just last month moved from Cognizant to Sapient.
Okay.
Incidentally,
So you as a client partner, is that
that's
what
right.
you would prefer to be called?
Yes, I'm a client partner.
Okay. And you work in technologies and IT, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Incidentally, the company was founded in our Congresswomen's district in Massachusetts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rais. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences. And so, I mean, I think that one has to be very brave from inside, because the biggest challenge, it comes from our own inner self, from the mind. So listening to you makes me realize that whatever problem we have in life, for most of the things, it's primarily us. It's us who doesn't accept our own self and is the most judgmental of all the things, I guess. Am I right to say this in this case also?
Absolutely, Anamika. As I told you, looking back with the benefit of hindsight, at that point in time, my frustration and anger was that, hey, something wrong has happened to me, be it because of what happened. These all bankers are bad, the way Lehman thing kind of unfolded, financial crisis, I lost large amounts of money. Now the world thinks I'm an ugly person, and so on and so forth. And then that realization that, hey, the world doesn't even care how you look.
Yeah.
Maybe they care about Shah Rukh Khan or Salman Khan losing some hair. He has to run away and immediately do some hair weaving in Dubai or wherever. But whether Rais has hair or not doesn't matter. And as long as my children, my family, my wife is okay with my bald look or looks that I had prior to that, they were also indifferent. So I said, what's the fuss all about? So yes, it's good to have hair, but it's also a headache to maintain hair as I said, put hair oil and gel and comb your hair and all of that. So I said, this is better. This is a blessing in disguise. I don't need hair. So no big deal. But I can laugh about it and joke about it now. It was very frustrating in the first few months. And I think it was also because it happened within 3 months in my case, right? I know a lot of people who have become bald over 10 years, bald over 1 year, 2 years, they start slowly losing their hair. But in my case, it was so rapid that I think that kind of, I may look strong today, and mature, but I was not. I was very frustrated. And as I said, I was angry on anything and everyone, everything, anyone and everyone, including trying to find out, hey, is there a God? Is there Allah? Can I deal with someone who can give my hair back? So, okay, what do you want? Should I break a coconut or should I sacrifice a goat? What does it take to get hair back? So I was willing to do anything and everything, including putting some chemicals on my head. So they actually put some acid kind of stuff in Jaslok Hospital in Bombay, and it kind of burned the skin. And to get out of that pain and burning sensation, it took nearly 6 months. It was so painful. But they said that we are going to cut a part of skin and do some research on that. And then it was so painful on me. I said, hell with it. I'm happy with this now.
So you became your own best friend. You
Yes.
loved yourself and accepted yourself.
Yes. And what I also did was I got out of the environment that I was in. So I was working for TCS, which is one of the largest IT companies in India. And from Tata Consultancy Services, I then moved and joined a different company. So TCS, my problem was I was being very conscious. People were used to seeing me with hair and nice and handsome if I felt that way at that time. And then I used to say, hey, I'm now ugly and bad. And I was being more conscious because these people have seen both the looks, the sudden change in the look and that whole question about, hey, cancer happened to you or what happened? Chemo or what resulted into this? When I changed my job, then these new set of people had not seen me with hair. But to them, this was the new look. So I kind of said, okay, now this is normal to them. This is normal to me. So that also helped. But I don't know whether that was also necessary or not. I don't know whether environment and surrounding was a problem, how people were looking at me, or I was just being too, it was more like getting into a self-pity mode. Are Rais Bechara, what happened to me? Oh, poor guy, lost his hair. Come on, man. I tell myself that poor guy was more about the tons of money I lost in the stock market crash. Hair was not a big loss, but it's okay. Now I can say money loss is also not a big loss and hair loss is also not a big loss. They say if you are hale and hearty, you can really make a lot of money and recover back. So focus on your health and well-being, emotional and even otherwise, and then everything will come back to you. Don't worry about it.
As they say, the real person is not in the body, neither in the mind.
Correct. And while I was doing all the treatment, Anamika, at that time, we didn't have this benefit. But later on, when you start looking at things negatively, a lot of negativity is there in your mind. When you start looking at it positively, as I told you guys, I did a lot of medication, spent a lot of money and time into that. That was affecting my health adversely. And then people said, hey, don't you know if there was any cure for hair loss, Jeff Bezos would have had hair. If one of the world's richest guy is bald, you need to understand there is no cure. So don't waste your time. Move on. Then I said, okay, this makes sense now, but that realization came very late. By that time, I had frustrated myself and frustrated a lot of people who loved me. They had to kind of counsel and tell me, it's okay, baby, that's okay. No big deal. Hair is not that important.
Thank you, Rais.
Cool.
So anyone else would like to share their story and maybe some questions we have?
I have a question. Thanks, Rais, for sharing your journey. It's really insightful and changes the perspective of living life. I mean, looking beyond your physical appearance. One thing, actually, I have two, but maybe we'll see if we have time. Now, after reaching this point at this phase in your life, do you still have hope or maybe looking forward to, or if might, looking forward to maybe it might grow back, or if there are some signs that it's growing back. So how do you look forward to it? Or there's complete acceptance.
So Khushbu, from a acceptance point of view, there is 100% acceptance. I really don't care. And given a choice, I would choose, and I'm just trying to be positive about it. It could be the other way around also, but I would like to make that statement that I don't want hair now. Even if it comes, I don't want. I've started liking this and enjoying this look. And I mean it when I say, when you come out of your shower, you just wipe your head and that part is done, rather than people with hair trying to dry it or then maintain it and comb it and gel it and all of that kind of stuff, right? So I really like it now, genuinely. But if you don't have something, and that's human nature,
Yeah.
you want it, right? Anything in life.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I have matured to an extent where when it comes to cars, for that matter, I do make reasonable amount of money where I can afford all the decent cars, including the Mercs and BMWs. Then do I really crave for any of those? Answer is no. When I can't afford, I'm craving for it. So, but am I happy with the Hyundai Sonata? Yes, I'm very happy. It's a fantastic car. I can do 140 plus, which is the maximum speed allowed. I don't need a faster car because I drive faster and I get overspeeding ticket, right? There are penalties. Now, that's one aspect of what I can have, cannot have, and therefore, am I wanting to kind of have any craving and spend money to get it? But that's not the case with hair, right? Even if I want to have, I cannot have. And that's where I have to do that emotional adjustment with myself, that first of all, you cannot have and you're not getting it back. And therefore, don't waste any time or energy trying to get it back. What that resulted into me doing is I stopped medications several years ago, because there was medication that was prescribed saying that keep taking this medicine and your hair can come back. I made that conscious decision, of course, in consultation with my wife, saying, this medicine is like pumping in chemical in your body. I don't want it, because the goodness that I'm being told will come out of it is your hair may come back, but I really don't really want it if it comes back with medicine. Now, even without taking medicine, that's the other part of your question. Do I see some instances of hair growth? Yes. Once in a while, after a couple of days, I will see some hairs around my mustache, a little bit of hair somewhere around my beard line, sometimes very little hair on some parts. So once in a month or so, I do sometimes to have it all neat and clean and tidy. I do kind of use a razor and remove it off. So there are those signs, but I'm really not looking forward to it and wanting it. But if it comes, will I be disturbed? Oh, why did it come back when I don't want it? No, I don't think I'll be disturbed about that either. Okay, if it comes back, let the growth happen. And then I will decide whether I want to keep it or I don't want to keep it. At some point, the last part would be, I'm conscious that if eyebrows come back, maybe that will be welcome, because then I don't have to kind of have this artificial unnecessary sunglasses. That part I have consciously kind of, so because I feel that this no, but I have now become even more comfortable with that also. But I tend to once in a while think, I looked at the Congresswoman's photo that Gary just mentioned. She also has eyebrows, but I suspect it's like Shakshi or Keti. It's drawn. It's not natural. And I have not bothered drawing it and all of that. So if it comes natural, I'll keep it. If it doesn't come, I'm okay with this also. Answered your question?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And maybe this is about the gender difference as well, and anyone can answer this question if shed some light. I mean, how do, as a man and as a woman, how does it affect you? Is it I mean, more difficult for a woman to accept this, or men? How does it? How is it?
So I will give a short response and others may add. So I think your point is very valid, and definitely more so the question becomes relevant in the Indian context. But you must understand that when this happened to me, it was 2009, more than 12 years back. At that time, even for men, bald was not cool in India. Now the world has changed, and more so ever in the last 3 to 5 years, where bald men are accepted. And jokingly again, because Jeff Bezos is bald, maybe, or many other such stars and celebrities. But until then, bald was not cool. So it was equally bad. But I see your point from a social perspective, even in other parts of the world and more so in India. A woman losing hair and not having hair could be more stressful, but the fight and the journey, I don't think will be fundamentally different, because I didn't bother about whether some woman has hair or not. To me, my fight and my problem was the biggest problem. So I was okay with all the other people in the world being bald, but I wanted my hair back. But others may add.
I think that answers pretty much when it comes to our individual journey. It doesn't matter if
Correct.
you're a male or female.
Correct.
Thanks. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Khushbu.
Thanks, Rais. I think it's all about making our mindset, right? And then move forward.
Correct. And one closing comment, if we don't have any question, would be that it helps what kind of a family you have and the social support system. So I think in my case, I was lucky, where my wife didn't even show any pity or sympathy. There was absolute acceptance and complete not just support, I would say. She was kind of great help in terms of motivating me and telling me that this is not important, get over it. So that support helps. If you do have family members, in-laws, my parents were very accepting about it. And no one really kind of gave me a feeling of looking down upon me or showing any pity or sympathy, at least within the family. They were all cool about it. They said, okay, baal nahi hai, big deal. I'm sorry, Gary, I'm using a little bit of Hindi in over here. But what I meant to say was family was absolutely cool about it, saying not having hair is absolutely normal and there is no big deal about it. So you are being too fussy and obsessed with hair. Just get over it, man, and move on. So let's go out, play. So I wanted to kind of go into a shell, not be seen socially, be at home. And then, of course, for work, I had to move around, but I was socially conscious. And a loving and supporting family helped great deal. So while family members are not there, but when you talk to your partners, spouses, and all of that, see if they need more counseling than you, because they could be more frustrated and more conscious than what you are. But to me, I was just lucky. My family helped me get over it.
Thanks, Rais. So anything else you want to say, Gary? You want to say something?
And this is only if the rest of the group wants to do this. Would it be possible to take a group photo?
Yes, of course.
Benjamin?
Yes.
Hi, this is Lakshmi Kulkarni here.
Hi, Lakshmi.
I know we have never met as such, even on the video, but we used to be in touch a long time ago, 15, 20 years ago. I'm the Indian support group person, but I live in the US now. I'm very close to Thousand Oaks, where Rais is from. And I could relate. I'm a parent here, by the way. I have 2 children with alopecia, now both grown up. And I have met Gary at 2 conferences long time ago. That was 2003. And what I would like to say is NAF has been a great support for me at that time, because I had no idea about this. And what I would like to see now is, because of what NAF gave me, I have been able to give both my children that support. And the support group, I think, is of utmost importance. And in India, I did start the support group, but people are not very forthcoming, even in those days. Now, probably it's a little different, but I would like to see, more from the support group perspective in India, so that we are able to help. Because as a parent, my daughter told this to me, she was only 10, and she said, Mom, you are never going to understand what I go through. And that was my first lesson, because I thought I was going to change the world for her. And but that was my first experience with it. So what I would like to see is how parents also can be helped, so that we can be a good support for our children or our family members or whoever is going through, or friends, so we could be the right support system for them. And I thank everybody of this panel here, because it's been such a great learning.
Yeah, Lakshmi ji, I'm so grateful to you for this remark. I think that is actually the intention of this meeting, making a support group. We have been facing some problems, bringing people together. We are actually facing this, whatever you just now said these days. We are not, people are not really coming out and not coming out, attending, even talking about it. And even still that problem exists. And we are so what you just mentioned, the intention of this group, this meeting today is actually to, bring people together, make them aware and create a strong support for
absolutely. I will be available as a volunteer at any point of time. Certainly I would like to be part of this growth that I would like to see.
Thank you so much. And I thank Rais ji and Gary for actually being a part of this, accepting to come and talk about it. It is, you have no clue how much it helps us.
but you know what, I should actually mention this here, because in 2003 I made the trip from India to LA to get my daughter I think Dr. Gary, Richard Strickland in UCLA had just started off with the acid treatment that Rais was just mentioning about. And how it burns the scalp, and what my daughter went through at that time. Now I can kind of think about it, think back and see, but that was my helplessness. I felt that I should do whatever is under my power to get her hair back. But then it's actually the other way around. We have to start with what Ray said, becoming emotionally strong, and then also that right kind of support system where the acceptance is there, whether the hair is there or not first, So that otherwise, if I start doing, because now looking back, I feel, the minute we start thinking that there has to be a treatment, then it shows the child that I'm not accepting that she doesn't have the hair. I want her hair back, And so, that part of it. But I think NAF in all, because of, and good thing now, I can say my daughter, she is doing her residency here in Connecticut, and a really wonderful young human being that she's become. And she's a NAF youth coordinator also for NAF, Radhika Kulkarni. And so I'm really looking forward to, because NAF has done such great wonders to a lot of people, because that is what I would like to see happen in India as well.
Right. Yeah. Just to add to that. Sorry.
And she just got.
This is my husband here.
And she just got married this February also.
Congratulations to both of you and to her as well. Happy to hear.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lakshmi. So it's been a long time since we've get connected.
Yes.
It's nice to see you here again. And
yes.
So I'm sure that with
sorry Ben, I'm just saying something in between. I think I just wanted to add this. In India, there have been individuals. We have had individuals like Ketki ji. Ketki ji is there with us. She has got Mrs. India. We have had individuals like Ketki ji and people like, and there are other individuals I keep on seeing on Facebook. But there is a great need to bring these individuals together as a support group collectively, and come out and do something for this alopecia community. So I'm very grateful that you brought this up.
I think
Divya has raised her hand. She wants to say something. Divya Binwani. Yeah.
Divya Binwani, you have to tell something. You have raised your hand. Yeah, please.
You're on mute.
Please unmute yourself, please. Okay, right, you can.
Can't hear you.
No, not yet. We can't hear you yet.
I think she's on mute.
You can type it in the chat. Dia, you could type it in the chat. or anybody else who wants to add anything. I would also like to mention, if you could leave your email IDs in the chat box, we can, reach out to you for our next event as well, which we are planning in next 2 weeks. Yeah.
Gary, you able to get the photo? Possible?
I'm on my phone, so I'm not able to do it on my phone, unfortunately. But
Right.
if you or someone else do it, that would be wonderful.
You can do Khushbu for us? Possible? Okay.
Yeah, we got it.
Okay, so she's...
Yeah.
Divya, please unmute yourself.
Maybe you could just type it in the chat, Dia. We would really like to know what you're saying. If you could type it in the chat box.
Sakshi, I don't think there is a chat option visible. At least I don't see any.
Correct.
Yeah, it's not.
Oh, okay. Chat is disabled.
Yes.
Sorry.
Please unmute yourself, Divya. We can't. No.
There is no chat box actually.
Sorry.
Yeah, I couldn't find the chat box to send the email.
Yes. So
Okay. There's no chat box to send the email as well. Okay. Right.
But the way we all have come through in this Zoom meeting, I think we all got an email. So are we already on there?
Yes, you're already in a group then. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I think it will help if you remove your headphone maybe. I think because you're using your headphone, there could be a settings problem. So try removing your headphone.
Oh, really? Okay.
No.
Only for
Divya.
Only for Dia.
Yeah, only for Dia.
Till then, we can have a screenshot. I have taken few, but maybe we can just smile and then I can take one more.
All are ready for the screenshot?
Yes. So I'll say 3, 2, 1, just smile. All right. 3, 2, and 1.
Thank you, Khushbu.
Okay.
Got it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ben, you would like to conclude?
So is Divya still around? Or?
I'm sorry. Would you please email me that photo when you can?
Yes, I will share it with Sakshi. She will forward. Yes.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, I would appreciate if you would share it with the whole group, please, on the email or wherever.
Share it on the email. I'll share it on the
Yeah.
email.
Thank you.
I will get in touch with you for volunteering, Lakshmiji.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Actually, very good initiative, I must say, and thank you, Rais, for sharing the story. It was really insightful.
Purva,
Yes.
you could make it. Purva is a coach. No coaching, right? Purva is into motivational coaching.
Yes, so I coach people, who are struggling with the, issues because of confidence or self-acceptance or clarity because of the body issues, whatever, because of illness or any other physical problems, a physical attribute. So I do coaching.
Thanks, Purva. Nice meeting you all.
Yes.
Hi. Can everybody hear me now? I tried joining in with a different one. So sorry about that. We were facing some technical issues. So my name is Dashina, and I would like to thank everyone for creating this support group. I am speaking on behalf of my mother. She's an alopecia patient, and right now we are speaking from India. She actually lost her hair in 2001 when I was like 2 years old, and I have seen her like going places for like getting it back and doing so much of struggle. Being a woman, she obviously felt it in the beginning that it was like really difficult on her part to manage with all this, and like for our family and society, she was like she could not face everybody when she lost her hair initially. It was a really hard time for her, but now when I think about it, after like 20 years, she has carried herself so well. Even my friends tell me that she doesn't look like your mom. She's just like she looks like your sister. She always like keeps changing her wigs, and she has done so much. She has actually like she has like other 2 daughters apart from me. We are like 3 sisters, and everybody or every one of us is so proud of her. We have supported her, but it was all her courage that brought her up here. And I sometimes also feel jealous because she doesn't have to get all that waxing and painful stuff done, because she that's actually, and she can change her hair anytime she wants. She doesn't have to like go through the salons and book like appointments for getting hair colored and stuff. She has so many of the things.
She got from China and wherever.
And apart from that, I have seen her support other students as well who are alopecia patients. Being a girl, I myself cannot imagine something happening like that. And now that I have seen it in my family, I don't pity people. I am actually like I am okay with it, and I think it's not something that stops you from doing what you want and like carrying yourself well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Is that Sarika?
Yeah, I am Sarika.
Thank you. It was so nice to hear from a daughter, you know, from a, we heard it from a parent, we heard it from a daughter. It was a, you know, a wide perspective we got to hear today. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having
me. I'm so glad to hear all of you. थोड़ा सा बोलेंगे, कम बोलना हिंदी is comfortable for me ना. Otherwise मेरे अंदर तो इतने expressions हैं, मैं रोज मैं बोलती हूँ तो model बन जाऊंगी. I want to be a model.
He's kidding.
No, you can be a model. There is definitely, you should try it. Why not?
She can be whoever she wants to be.
Yes, indeed, she is what she wants to become.
Yeah. Hair doesn't stop us, but it's our mind which stops us. So,
no.
Right.
Yeah,
my mind is today. My mind is also very, very strong. Very strong.
I'm sure.
And I have seen people like she has supported. She told a girl who was somewhere around 16 years old. She told her about everything that happened to her. She was also an alopecia patient, and like I was very young when that happened. That girl was so inspired by her, and she actually now moves freely. She has like she tried all the wigs and stuff, and she says she's thankful for. And I will definitely let her know as well about the group to join the group.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Very
much.
nice.
Nice to meet you all.
Nice to meet you all. Thank you so much for having the support group here.
So thanks everyone for joining this event, our second event for this Alopecia Awareness Month. So we look forward to working with every one of you and more people to join us. And we need to support people just like us who are going through the same phase, who are facing within themselves. They cannot come out yet. So let's join together and move forward. So you can, as Sakshi said, you can pass your emails, and then also we have a WhatsApp group where we talk about, our journeys, our, day-to-day life, or, so it's been great. So I would like to especially thank Rais for, sharing your special story with us for encouragement for us. And also Gary for waking up maybe quite early on your time. And
the importance of a support group. I think it was very important for us to know the importance of a support group.
Yeah. Also, so we are looking forward to work with the National Alopecia Area Foundation in building this support group to a growing group where we can help more people and grow together. So I think it's been really nice. So we've started very small, And with a lot of effort, I would really like to thank Sakshi, who has done so much. She's taking so much of her time and so much energy, and also, you know, Angie from US and Jagmeet from Mumbai, who connected us to Gary. And so I think we are looking forward to working together. So I think it's a great day for me to, you know, though I am from Sri Lanka, you know, just to, you know, work with y'all. So my first journey started, you know, connecting with Lakshmi and her daughter, you know, just many years back. So I think I'm really happy that we were able to come to this and we can move forward. So
Yes.
Thanks everyone. Hope to see you at the next event. We will organize very soon. Okay. Anyone else want to just share anything for a few minutes? Just we'll keep for just maybe, 5 minutes or so.
I was just going to say, whether it's Sri Lanka or US or India, wherever it may be, bald is beautiful.
Exactly. So we'll stick to that. Yeah. So we'll just.
There is a group on our Facebook called Bald is Beautiful. So if you could join that, you'll get all the updates.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.
Thank you so much,
Bye-bye.
everyone. It's great to meet you all.
Thank you, Gary.
Same here. Bye.
Bye.
Everyone.
Stop the recording. Yes.